Hey guys, I need to show you this because this is kind of insane. When I logged in on Tuesday, obviously the Monster Hunter Earn Challenge has released, as well as the Halloween monster tanks in the store. And while I was perusing the store, looking at all the tabs and whatnot, I decided to check the Regiments tab, not knowing that the T31 Demolition would actually be available, as on their Friday stream, they still did not have a release date for the vehicle. Turns out, well, they were able to release it this Tuesday. And taking a look at it real quick, you can see some of statistics, and if you view the vehicle details itself and press Y, you can see more of its statistics. And you can see that it has 88 millimeters of penetration with 300 alpha damage and a 20-second reload with what says 5 shots per clip. And if we scroll down a little bit, a half a second intra clip, giving the tank 4,092 base DPM. If you look at pen values, though, for tier 6s, as this is a tier 6, but it is still for 30,000 regiment coins, like the previous 2 tier 5s that they've released, this is more of like a derp gun sort of tank, where the penetration values are not even above 100, which most standard vehicles at tier 6 are. And its rockets, especially its second rocket, which does 250 damage with 64 pen, but bigger splash damage, act more like the Calliope's rocket secondary weapons. But the biggest thing about this vehicle that you need to know about is this right here, where if we go back to the store page, it says what you're getting with the T31 here on the left side: a dual rocket launcher, okay, and a choice between normal and trajectory view. Now, what does that mean? Trajectory view is what arty view is called. Isn't that interesting? So I went looking to see if they released an article on this tank this Tuesday, and they did not. However, they had already released this article. Now, I don't remember if I fully looked at this article or not, but yes, the T31 Demolition and its statistics are actually made available. Again, I don't know if this was updated recently as the tank was released, but you can see this right here: standard mode and barrage mode. Now, in barrage mode, your speed is limited to 20 kilometers an hour, so you don't want to sit in barrage mode. I don't know how long the switch time is, but I presume there is not a very long switch time. But in barrage mode, it is 5 rockets per trigger pull and still a 20-second reload time. That 4,000 DPM stays the same because I would believe it still takes half a second per rocket, but you're forced to dump. You can't hold on to, 4 of them, shoot only one. In barrage mode, obviously, it's barrage mode, so it shoots all 5 at once. So what's the specialty of barrage mode then? It's that trajectory view. If we look up here, it says here, pressing the Alt mode button, normally left on the D-pad, will switch to barrage mode. You will have access to the third person and trajectory view only. So you won't be able to aim like a normal tank in first person. You will only have third person and arty view. In this mode, all rounds in your clip will fire with each trigger pull. Your rounds will lob in an arc to provide indirect fire. Your top speed, accuracy, turret rotation speed, and aim time are reduced in this mode. Generally, it will play like an SPG vehicle, artillery pieces. So this is the first vehicle in the game that is not an artillery piece that will have the artillery ability. This was something that they have asked about before for some tanks like the Sturm Tiger line, whether or not the community thinks that would be a good idea. And this is them clearly testing a non-artillery piece vehicle being able to play like artillery. And that is also why these rounds have low pen, because they're not meant to be penning rounds. It's basically a derp gun vehicle that can sit behind objects and play like artillery. Now, the most interesting thing about this is going to be if that signal range is going to affect it in any way. If it's going to be able to see across the map, and what the gun range actually is for the vehicle. If it's going to be really short, like an HMH Burt, or just the regular Burt, or if it's going to have full range artillery range. I think that's going to be the most important way to balance this vehicle is the gun range. Now, 5-meter blast radius is pretty good as well, so you can definitely just splash stuff with this vehicle, as most normal HE rounds are between 1 and 3 meters of blast radius. So this is intended to be a splash damage vehicle. 88 millimeters of pen, however, is pretty good at tier 6. Now, the armor profile we can actually see in game, and if you look at its upper plate, it is only 63 millimeters, which matches the Easy 8 Sherman. So this is not a Sherman Jumbo hull with a giant rocket turret, or a rocket launcher turret. And you can see that the turret itself is also 63 millimeters. So this tank will be able to penetrate itself with those 88 millimeters of penetrating rounds. And you'll be able to do it very quickly. 300 alpha damage in 2.5 seconds with 5 rockets is 1500 alpha damage in 2.5 seconds. That is a lot. And that is going to kill everything at tier 6 and 7 and a lot of tier 8s. This thing might actually be able to hold its own against tier 8s if you can hit those rounds, because the shell speeds are low at 300 with the 300 alpha rounds and 330 with the 250 alpha rounds. Of course, the 250 alpha rounds you might want to hold on to for arty view, but them having less alpha damage and pen doesn't make up for the extra meter of blast radius, honestly, because if you can hit the tank, 5 meters is enough. So you might actually not even want to use those secondary rounds. I don't know if any of them are premium, but the other statistic that I just noticed here is pretty insane, is that it's got 15 degrees of gun depression. I don't know if that's all 3 of the rockets. I also don't know how this is even going to work. Does barrage mode only use the ones on the ears and standard view use the one in the middle? Or does it, with 5 rounds, cycle between middle, left, right, middle, left? Something like that. I have no clue. And I won't know until I earn 30,000 regiment coins. As you can see in the top right, I only have 6,000. This vehicle will take me a while to earn. And if you want this as well, the only way to get it is through regiments. So the clan system. You cannot purchase this vehicle directly with gold or free XP or none of that. It has to be earned through the regiment system for this season only, until who knows when it comes back. I don't know how regiment tanks are going to cycle, whether or not they're going to make one for every season of a year and then just cycle through those through the year, or if they're going to continue to make new tanks every season, and those old ones will just be brought back at some point, maybe in the store or in future regiment seasons as second tank options, maybe, is how I could see it happening. But right now, the only way to get it is through the regiment system. So if you're not in a clan, you're missing out on the first medium tank that can play like an artillery piece. So I highly recommend you get in a clan. And if you need a clan, the Cone Clan still has spots open, and we are open to applications. So send one in, and I will accept it once I see it. I'll be checking every day now for applications to let as many people in as possible so that people can start earning regiment coins towards this vehicle. Of course, when I get 30,000 regiment coins, a review will come out on the channel. Hopefully not too late, but the good thing about this is that you can start earning these points now, so that once the review comes out and you see that it's worth it, because I can tell you right now it's going to be worth it, you can then spend those coins. Or finish off getting those 30,000, just in case you were thinking maybe it's not worth it and I don't want to keep playing this season. I'll let you know once I get the tank, but until then, you need to be in a clan first and you need to start racking up those coins. Anyway, a weird video here for me to make. I just felt the need to make this because this is a very special vehicle and the news about it needed to get out there. And I didn't want to wait until a review to tell people to start earning their coins now. Because of course, I need to get my coins first, so that would have taken a while. Anyway, thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. I'll catch you in the next one. It should be the Squall review, speaking of reviews. So if you haven't bought your Ultimate Season Pass and you're still waiting to see if that tank is worth it, my review will be out soon. And I'll see you then. Take care.